Wrist control, I like to really think about my wrist grabbing the lowest part of his hand with my middle finger, and that gives me like my biggest finger around the smallest part of his wrist. I don't want to just grab anywhere. I want to get the most leverage as possible. So I like to look for that. Now if he's grabbing my wrist, yeah, there it is. You feel the difference? Yeah. Now he's kind of like locked in. Now for me to get away, I like to say waving by, right? I go inside to outside and I can get away, or I can re-grab back. I can just pummel and re-grab and then slide my hand down, like I said, to that spot. I kind of slide it down, I find that spot, and then I can drag back. And I'm going to drag, and I'm going to look for like a high dive is what we call in wrestling, where in Greco I can't touch his legs, but I can lock around the body, and we'll just circle, pivot around, and sort of take the back, right, like Jiu-Jitsu. So partner will grab my wrist. You want to grab both wrists, that's fine. Maybe I'll wax off on one, I'll wax off on the other, re-grab. So I got to grab same side wrist for the drag. I drag, and then I penetrate. I'm stepping in. We call a high dive. Locking like a double leg around the body, step around, get around the back. But what we're going to do now is drag and re-drag, right? So partner drags me, boom. But look, as soon as he starts to drag me, what right here, we have similar grip, right? So I can re-drag back as a counter or defense. So as soon as I feel him start to drag me, I drag him. I got to move my feet too though, right? So as he drags, I re-drag, and I look to attack his back. Make sense? Or just get out if you want to escape. That's your choice, your option. He can drag me, I can just re-drag and get away. And see, I ain't playing that game. He's too good at grappling up there. I don't want to do that. Makes sense? So let me hit it on Alex. I start to drag, and you re-drag. Yes, think heavy hand though. Make sure you pull hard. It gets me off balance. It gets me stuck for that half a second. So I drag, and then yes, re-drag, yes, and that's what you want. Beautiful. A real heavy drag, they end up face planting on the ground. Like if you do it really hard, I'm just being honest, right? So if I was really heavy drag and I penetrated in, my leg would cause his hip to go off balance, and he would drag and fall right on his face, right? Yeah. So that's what he did was right. So when you re-drag, get heavy, re-drag, boom, right? Whatever happens, happens. But as a partner, I got to be ready. He was talking about. Yeah, like I got to be ready. Does that make sense? So with your partner, drag, and then re-drag back. Everybody got it? 1, 2. Collar tie, inside tie, and just sort of snapping. And just feel that reaction. And feel him come up. Yes, so I want the reaction. If I don't snap him hard, he's not going to stand up. So maybe I snap and pull, and then he's coming up. Right? So these are our setups. A good setup means an easy takedown. Right? If I try to shoot for the legs way out here, he sees it coming. It's going to be a hard fought takedown. And if you watched the fights last night, there were some hard-fought takedowns, right? Or not so successful takedowns, shooting from far away. So a good setup makes it easier takedown. So just play around with the collar tie. So collar tie on me, inside tie, boom. Head position on the same side as the collar, and use that pressure of your head, trying to turn my neck a little bit, boom. Now I'm pummel back, right? I pummel inside, and let's say his neck and head is stronger than me. I can't just muscle him with my neck. I use my footwork, right? I shuffle. Now look, I'm in the same spot. I'm in better position. Same collar tie, inside tie, doing what I want. Now he maybe pummels back, move around, use your footwork. Bam, boom. Now get your head on me though, forward. Yeah, does that make sense? So try to keep your head in that pressure as you change and fight back. So we're hand fighting as well as looking for head position. In my stance, without touching my opponent, change my level, stepping right next to his foot. That's where I have to get to. That's my depth. Head in the chest, eyes up, looking where I'm going, good posture. Head up, butt down. I snatch the leg and I drive in. My hands, backhand on top for technique-wise. And I'm trying to get up as high on the thigh as possible, my head up into his chest, and I'm pulling the leg into me. This is like the most high-level fundamental that needs to get focused on that doesn't, is I want to control his leg and his hip with my arms. So my head is free to work and do things. A lot of people end up hugging the leg and their head is down. And they're pulling the leg into their neck or something like that. So I want to avoid that. I'm pulling my arms into me. Backhand on top. Because if my front hand was on top, for defense, all he's got to do is pull the wrist up. And so, backhand on top, he pulls the wrist up, he's helping me. Perfect. So very simple, I need my backhand on top, head's in the chest, and now I'm going to shuffle to keep him off balance. Shuffle, keep him off balance. For my finish, I step in front, big back step, and then bow. And then think about maybe passing, whatever your next step might be. Don't just sit here and let him triangle me. So go ahead and think about what you might do next, right? If you want, add the next level, do it from hand fighting, do it from head position. Figure out your setup, right? So head position, collar tie, I'm gonna make the leg step that I want, meaning I go away from it. So I forward, I circle away, which makes him step. I change my level, now I have a baby step, because my setup works. So I have a small step now to get to that leg, I drive in, I take my time. If I'm off balance, I keep driving. I keep driving till I have balance, I feel comfortable. Now I go to finish. Step in front, big back step and bow. The most important thing, like I said, bow. If I try to throw him over, I fall over too. Do it from open. He's going to shoot the single leg, and now I'm going to down block. Right? I got to be careful that I don't headbutt my opponent. Like we're mindful of where we're moving. I'm down blocking. And now as he comes up and, well, are you just going to stay there? Oh, perfect. So look, he walked into me and gave me my single leg. I'm going to down block and then I'm going to reshoot and get my single leg. So partner, you shoot and then just go ahead and come back like you're recovering your stance. It doesn't, like what you attacked is more advanced and I still found a way to get it. But just think about basic, you shoot, you run into the wall, back up, yep. So he goes to shoot, I down block, he backs up, there's my single, right? Give you two options, just down block, reshoot, no finish, or down block, reshoot, and finish. Whatever you feel like doing, whatever you feel like can keep you safe and conserve your energy, whatever it is. So again, he's shooting his single, down block, reshoot, finish if I want, or do it from the tie up, right? Tie me up, hit your setup. Down block, reshoot, right? So think about that. And again, it's this feel, this pressure, more so than thinking and seeing and trying to react. And you got to be able to feel it. Oh, he changes levels? I got to hit my down block. And we know we're doing single, so it's same side. Same side. And the goal is to kind of get him to run into my shoulder. So be kind of strong with your arm. Don't be relaxed. Because if he was shooting really hard, don't shoot really hard. But if he was shooting really hard, boom! Maybe your head on the inside or outside, whatever. Yes, right there. Boom! He's going to be blasting into my shoulder. And it might not feel great at a high level competition pace. So think about that while you're drilling. Boom. That's what they're going to be running into, is that shoulder. Make sense?
Can I see it one more time?
Absolutely. So just do it from open, shoot the single, boom, down block. He runs into the wall, and then I come back and attack, head up, get good position. Make sense? Awesome, let's get it. 1, 2. All right, defense. So we'll go snatch, single, defense. Let's say now I'm out of position, I'm here. Grabbing the wrist. Try to avoid pinching the knees. I know this is a huge habit of jiu-jitsu, guys. As soon as I see you pinch your knees, I know you're committed. My favorite, I guess, counter to the pinch knees is I just hop away, make him step, I hook behind it, and I ankle pick. So try not to pinch those knees. Again, this is a little more advanced wrestler technique, right? It's off of the ankle pick, single leg. If he's pinching his knees though, I just feel like it's so easy. I can go for it right now even. So be careful pinching those knees and locking yourself in there. You open those knees, you're a little more mobile. Yeah, now I'm like, I can't get to that. I can't really make him step. Now I gotta do something. So I'm gonna change my level. I'm gonna try to get my shoulder or my head in position, right? It can be any head in position. And also I'm trying to lock his arms in. So he grabbed my leg, he wants his arm bent and tight, I'm gonna kind of, boom, lock him in, commit him in there. Change my level, get my shoulder under his jawline. And then I kick my heavy leg straight down. As soon as I feel his lock break, underhook, pull back, get good position. And good position. So let's say he's just like, get low. Yeah, knees apart, head up, butt down, right? He's just super low, maybe lower than us height-wise. It's just hard for me to get underneath him. I can't get underneath him. No way it's gonna happen. So then we go the opposite. We push the head down. So maybe push the head down, and at the same time, I might hop back, and I'm still keeping heavy leg, because now I want him down. I want him off balance, and I'm keeping heavy leg, pulling him down. And this other hand, I didn't emphasize enough, but it's called a whizzer or an overhook on that arm. Goes in that armpit. I can steer him with it. Gives me some sense of control, so I'm just not letting him walk around my back. So I'm stopping him from coming around my back with that whizzer or that overhook. Other hand goes right on top of the head. I'm hopping back, creating space. I'm sprawling and squaring up. I want to think about my shoulder right on the top of his neck, and if I want maximum pressure, my knees are off the mat. And partner, if you want, drop to your hands and knees and try to create a nice strong base so you don't hurt your body. And now again, so maximum pressure, my shoulders in his top of his neck, or should I say top of his back, the lower part of his neck. Now hand on the chin, hand on the tricep where the overhook was, same spot. Now I'm going to switch. I'm going to take the hand off the chin and replace the hand that was on the tricep and circle that way and block that arm just so he can't grab my waist and put myself right back in a single leg or something like that. Can work from our setup, collar tie, inside tie, we're looking for a high crotch. And just practice having your hands back on your opponent like Cholo was doing there. And if I need to, boom, I'll pummel back inside to get the position I want. And if I was gonna try to fight, I just block with my elbows. For now, let me get my position. I'm gonna make him step now with the other side. Boom. Now I got my high crotch, so change my level. My high crotch step is like my double right in the middle. High crotch. This hand that was on the inside, I gotta be careful I don't just let it get caught and turn into an underhook and rip my arm off, right? So I go from inside, and then I go hand in the back pocket. Hand in the back pocket. We can go high crotch to double leg, or we can go high crotch, whoop, right to our high dive. And think about taking the back. Or we can do the same thing from open. So just hands in the open in your stance. Boom, high crotch. Changing my level, I step. High crotch, hand in the back pocket. I think about coming up to double for sake of our drill. Let's just come up to our back, and we'll go for our mat return. So high crotch to mat return. I want that hand in that far hip, like I was talking about. And then I run over to my walk. It can be 10-finger grip, which I think is more mobile. Or it can be palm to palm, which is stronger, but less mobile. So if you have bad shoulders, you might be not so fun. So either way, any grip is okay. I run over to my lock, I hip in, and I keep my opponent safe and turn him to the mat. Partner getting slammed, technique for getting slammed. I bring my knees to my chest. I bring my hands in like a cat. If I ever get slammed like a cat, I always land on my hands and feet, right? But if I get flaily when I get slammed, I'm gonna end up getting slammed on my arm, my shoulder, something's gonna break, not be fun. So I get picked up, hands, feet in like a cat, you get slammed, try to land on your hands and knees. Make sense, Cholo? So high crotch from open in your stance, boom, high crotch stepping in, I come up to our high dive, which is really low. I want to keep my lock over here so I get this torque. And as soon as I hip in, he's bringing his knees to his chest, and that's how you get slammed. Over and over, you land safe like that if you get slammed. If you guys have a double leg, feel free to hit your double leg. Just watch your space. Boom, you can do it off your collar, high crotch, back hand, or hand in the back pocket. If I find the far knee, I use my head, and I drive. You go past in the guard. If that makes sense, just like we shuffled when we warmed up. So we avoid the underhook. If I just shoot for my high crotch, he's gonna throw me on my back. No, just underhook. No, stay right there. Just underhook, and there it is. Make sense? Yeah, right? So, but now again, like from open, some guys are fancy, they don't shoot from tying up. If I shoot from open, I gotta put my hand in my back pocket. Try to catch the underhook. All day. Whatever I want. Double. We call it mat return. So, mat return. Return him to the mat. Then you can take the back, do whatever. Don't worry, we're gonna add a little counter now. So Cello, come here. He starts with the high crotch, and then I cross block. I get my leg out of the way, cross block. I wait for him to come up, recover his stance. Oh, look at there's my high crotch. I high crouch back. Now we can penetrate and finish if we like, or just work on that penetration and that counter. So he throws his high crotch. I reach across. Again, I'm replacing it. He's going to be hitting that shoulder. As he comes up and recovers, there's my high crotch, pushing off that leg that I moved right into my high crotch. Now, let's come over here real quick. Turn your foot over there. All right, head position. So now, when we go to finish on a double leg, for jiu-jitsu, couple things. My head can't be stuck in the middle, sort of like classic wrestling. I'm giving up a guillotine. He's going to snatch my neck. Guillotine. There it is, right? So I can keep my head super low by the hip. Is not going to let him guillotine me. Or I got to go super high in the armpit. So as I go to finish, I'm controlling the knees. Front knee, most important one on my double leg, not necessarily the back. And I run in front and I look towards the back of his head. And I get high. I pass by those legs, and now it doesn't matter because I'm passed by those legs. Even if he did try to lock up a guillotine, we got the Von Fleet choke, whatever. Or counter. We'll go a little bit high level for fun. Come here, Cello. He's not making eye contact. That means he gets to come. He's trying to avoid the eye contact. All right, so high crotch. Now, we're going to defend a little cross face and then cut in the corner and then sprawl. So before he cuts that corner, I got to cut the corner the other way. I'm going to cross face and I'm going to feed my hips. So try to have good technique, good position, because it might not feel so fun if you don't have good position. So as safe as possible for you means good penetration technique. So he goes for the high crotch. Boom! I cut the corner. I'm feeding hips, thinking about cross facing. And I'm driving in. So I can either, we have the angle now, kind of like we're taking the back, we can take the back, or go ahead and relax that knee, there it is. Or I can just drive in. Boom, feed the hips. Whatever for the day. Come here, Cello, you can take a double leg. All right, so straight from open, or whatever setup, right? This is where the snap down setup works really well. I'm snapping down, he's pulling up, whoop, easy double leg, right? Or we just do it from open. So square stance, just for me, yes, makes it nice and easy for the double. I want to make sure my penetration step is at least in between his feet. That's where I got to be. Or deeper. Otherwise, my posture and my body is going to get broken and be really hard for me. So like I was saying a little second ago, concept in wrestling is head up, butt down. So I always want to keep my head above my hips, and no matter where I'm at. So from square, change my level. Big step again. Foot between his legs. So this time, when I go, my shoulder makes contact with my opponent before my knee hits the mat. That knocks him off balance. If I don't take a good penetration step, step out a couple more steps, thank you. If I don't take a good penetration step, my knee hits the mat, and then my shoulder hits him. Where did he go, right? So I lose all my power. So that's why it's super important. The highest level, some guys don't even hit their knee. They just penetrate, especially us short guys. So think about that. My shoulder's got to hit my opponent before my knee hits the mat for maximum power. Change my level. Big step, penetrate. While he's off balance, now I get to recover my trail leg and drive up. So like I was saying, I'm going to drive up high, head in the armpit. I focus on this far knee, and I run him over it, and I run in front. And think about passing the guard. You get ready for your side control, head, whatever you want to think about next. But again, it's that far knee that I'm really focused on. Or we can go a little lower double leg, all right? Change my level, good penetration step, knocked him off balance. Right at the knees. I'm actually going to run the other way. So head goes up one way, or I collapse the knees the other way. And I run around and still pass, and then up on the other side. It's similar, sort of like a tackle, but I want to try to find a little bit of an angle. So I change my level, penetrate, boom. All right, maybe he thinks that pressure's going that way, so he's naturally going to defend, and I'm going to the other way. Sort of a backside double, if you will. Or full-on football tackle. The reason I like the football tackle, especially for jiu-jitsu, is you end up in the guard, you end up in the guillotine, you end up with something to deal with usually, which isn't bad. If you want the points, you need the points, go for it. Straight double leg tackle, boom. Pull behind the knees, grab over, whatever happens, happens. Try to, you all right? Back tight. Yeah. Call them on it. All right, does that make sense? So there's a couple options. You want to see it or you got it? All right, cool. So double leg, run it over, double leg backside, or double leg tackle. Either way, think about the head position and making sure you don't get guillotine. 1, 2. Defense, he shoots his double leg. Classic defense, cross face, right? We cross face, put the head to the center, stuff the head, do exactly what we did on the single leg. And we don't necessarily need to grind and go over that, but that's an option for you to play with the defense. Cross the face, put it into the center. So he shoots double leg, heads outside, or even high crotch, heads outside. I cross face, and what I do by the cross face, I put my forearm, that bone, the blade for leg lock and all the fun stuff, choking, I put it right on his nose. And then the big thing in wrestling is I can't punch, I don't want to swing, and I got to keep it close to my body. So I keep my cross face close to my body, and I just turn my hip and use my power, kind of like a punch. It stays connected. If I just try to rip his face, then I end up missing, and things come off, and it starts to look like a punch. So for grappling, it's a little bit of a no-no. So cross face can be hard, but I want to place it, and I wrench it with my core and my hips and my body. And again, he's got to decide how much does he want to jack his neck up before he goes with it, puts it to the inside, cover the head, sprawl. Now the fun one, we'll go over the chest wrap. So you have option for cross face, stuff the head like single leg or double leg, and chest wrap. So I'm going to chest wrap, and it's called a chest wrap, not a belly wrap, not a leg throw, nothing else. So I want to wrap up high in the chest, and I want to get my elbows in and think about sprawling just to get space and clear my legs, right? So I chest wrap and think about sprawling, but if he had my legs, okay, is what it is. So this is where the chest wrap comes into play, sort of emergency. I want to be heavy on his head so he can't get his head up and finish. Try to get your head up and finish, right? I got to keep this lat involved, pinching down. So I'm pinching down. Now, I basically, kind of like a upa or a bridge, I'm going to keep my hands in tight, keep myself sitting up, and keep his head covered. If his head pops out, well, there's no more chest wrap. So I've got to sit up and make sure I keep his head covered with my shoulder, my chest, my entire body, and I'm locked up high in his chest, pinching my elbows in. Now we sort of do like a upa where I bridge and I pop. He might still have my legs or whatever, and now this is where I got to kick and hip heist. And maybe he comes up with me, and now we're back in that front headlock position. His hands are off my legs. So that chest wrap and that bridge of the upa is what helps sort of break his lock and get his hands off my legs when they're locked in deep. Cello, come here real quick. So double leg, boom, chest wrap, right? So again, sometimes people they chest wrap and counter back because they're strong. And what I'm going to do is put my feet to the opposite side that I want to throw him. And a lot of times it's the opposite side as the head. Not always, but most easily I want to cover the head. So I'm covering the head and my feet. If I need to, I want to make sure my feet are close to my butt so I have lots of power. It's like a bridge or whatever it is. Now lock the hand on the legs a little bit, squeeze them. There it is. So I pop my hips. And now if I needed to break his lock, I'm kicking my legs and hip heisting and squaring up. And then we end up in our front headlock, and you can score from there or do whatever you want. Make some sense on that chest wrap? So try to keep everything in tight, feet close to my butt, and that's what gives me the most power to pop over. So I pop over, and then hip heist, square up, and finish. All right, let's get to it. 1, 2, double leg defense. Chest wrap or cross face, back to square one.